unpack. We unpack. We unpack. Coming to you live, Boxing Ego unpack. Yeah. We unpack. We unpack. We unpack. Coming to you live. Golden Boys Oscar De La Hoya says we have to make Canelo versus Gennady. Hell no, guys. Hey, Max, everybody. Golovkin part 3. He said it gotta happen. We're gonna talk about it. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Make sure you smash the like button. Also, subscribe to my channel for the latest and greatest in boxing. If you want to become part of the gang, notification gang, please hit the bell icon. Shout out to the super chats, channel donations, the Venmo donations, the Cash App, and the Patreon family. We working. Now, speaking of Patreon, head over there to the Patreon. I revamped it. We started from scratch. New tiers, simplified everything, cut the fat, got rid of some stuff. If you want to support the channel, that's a great way to do it. I have some stuff that's going over and moving and shifting from the regular platform to Patreons exclusively, and also for YouTube channel member, different perks. So read up about those, hit the join button to become a YouTube channel member, or head over to the Patreon link in the description of all my videos, right? Another great way to support the channel is to click the link and get ESPN Plus, the bundle. That includes ESPN Plus, Hulu, and Disney Plus. All three of these apps, one price, $12.99. I personally have all three, and it definitely helps the channel when you guys click on that link. And since we're all locked down, waiting for the world to get restarted and sort some things out, it's a great time to get caught up on shows. Disney has a huge catalog, as well as ESPN, so check that out. Now, Canelo versus Triple G 3, that seems to be the next order of business. Canelo was considering fighting Billy Joe Saunders. I don't know what's up with that fight. Billy Joe Saunders got himself in some trouble during this pandemic, so I don't know what's up with him. But the pandemic has pushed boxing to the back, where we're months behind. Fights that were supposed to happen or were scheduled to happen obviously haven't happened, and we're just, coming from behind dealing with that. So we'll have to see how that plays out. But De La Hoya, he did an interview, and I'm gonna read the quote. He says, quote, "We have to make a statement, and Triple G Canelo has to happen." This is what De La Hoya said to CBS Sports State of Combat. He says, "We have to show the world that we can make the big fights. Boxing will always be boxing and will always survive, pandemic or not. We are here to stay. Boxing has been around for ages. As long as we make the biggest and the best fights, Canelo and Triple G doesn't get any bigger than that. It's a fight that people are not really wanting," De La Hoya said. "It's a fight that never got signed, but it all depends on Canelo and what he wants. Canelo always fights the best," which is false, "and I have no doubt in my mind that he wants to go after Triple G." And that's what he said regarding the Billy Joe Saunders fight. He says it's a fight that people are not really wanting. So he's saying Canelo is basically setting his sights on straight after Triple G. Hey, Max, listen, everybody, it's punches, tick, as punches is nothing. Right? I have no interest, very little interest, I'll say. Knows a little bit. I love boxing. I have very little interest in that fight. I know the outcome. We could bet something. It's whatever y'all want to do. Y'all want to bet? Y'all want to bet to God? We could bet. Canelo versus Triple G. Canelo will win that fight. I don't see it any other way. I've looked and I've analyzed with all the data available. Golovkin is 38 years old. He ain't no spring chicken. He's not getting any younger. So what really gives him the X factor to beat Canelo at this point, seeing how Canelo moved up and fought at 168 since then? Canelo moved up and fought Kovalev, and Kovalev did this whole FAF knockout thing, whatever. what makes me believe that it would be different for Golovkin the third go round? Golovkin's team has publicly stated on wax they preferred to go into a tune-up as opposed to fighting Canelo Alvarez straight away. So to me, that's a sign. That tells me something. That tells me something that they don't feel fully confident. And Golovkin is less like an old car in the wintertime. You know, you have a good old car. It might be somewhat reliable. It's not going to be as reliable as a brand new 2020, 2021 car. I'll tell you that much. So you could have a trusted, tried and true car. And sometimes when you haven't done your oil changes or you haven't changed the battery in a while, you've had the same battery for year upon year, a lot of grit and wear and tear on that car, on that automobile. And that's kind of how I look at Golovkin and his style. So some people, like I've had older cars for sure. And you know, you have an older car, it's cold. You don't want to just get up and go. So what I would do is get up a little bit early. I had to be at work at 6 a.m. So I get up a little bit earlier because I had to warm my car up, you know? And I think that's pretty much where Golovkin's at. He's not 21 years old. He's not Teofimo, Shakur Stevenson, Devin Haney. He's none of these ages. So as a result, you know, he's going to take a bit more to get up and to get in shape. And I told you, Golovkin, a lot of old media, what they do is they look at certain fighters, coincidentally, you know, and they look at certain fighters and they try to praise them and say they're the fighters to beat and the ultimate and this and that. And they could be a good fighter. A lot of it is praising that fighter's amateur pedigree. But one of the downsides with having a long amateur pedigree is wear and tear. This is still getting up in physical combat. So a lot of the, like, let's say Eastern European fighters or various fighters, Cuban fighter, wherever, that have had a chance to develop in the amateur circuit, a lot of those guys don't end up looking the same as pros because they're sitting around waiting for the next Olympic, which only happens every 4 years, and things of that sort. Versus like Floyd Mayweather, after he got robbed in the Olympics, he said, I'm out. He said, you know, the pros are calling my name. I done all I could do as an amateur. And he was scoring, so he said he's done with the amateurs. Now start to get paid, which he ultimately did. You know, getting paid for his labor as opposed to amateurs. But the guys that have 250, 350 fights and 400 and stuff like Lomachenko, you see a regression typically different than the guys who, like even the Shakur Stevenson. I can picture Shakur Stevenson as he develops staying around for quite some time because one, he's young because he didn't wait another 4 years and then come into the pro rankings when he was 27 or 28, 26. You know, he got a jump start. He got the silver medal against Robesi, Ramirez. And, you know, he just did his thing and decided to turn pro, which is cool. But at the end of the day, certain people that stay and they don't turn pro until later and have all these fights, you usually see a regression faster than even like De La Hoya's or like Andre Ward, guys who have only had one gold medal, who didn't have 400 fights. You see what I'm saying? And that's where Golovkin is. He had that's just a lot of wear and tear. Even as a pro, a lot of people don't know about Gennady Golovkin's early career. His early career, he did a lot of fights abroad in Germany and stuff like that. So Gennady Golovkin, he got a lot of miles on him despite not really stepping up in class and competition until, let's say, the Kell Brook fight, Danny Jacobs fight. He didn't really fight like marked notable names until about that point. And he's definitely, from Kell Brook to now, he's got a lot of miles from that. But even before that, just from having a long career, even as a pro, he had all these, I don't know what his exact record is, but let's say he had 225 amateur fights, but he also has almost 40 professional fights or whatever number. You know, I could pull it up for you guys. But at the end of the day, that's just a lot. That's a lot for your body, a lot of wear and tear, a lot of preparation, a lot of training camps, a lot of getting stuff together. So as a result, you see fighters who they look a bit weathered and wither later. Oh, okay, so he has 42 fights. So he has a little bit over. Look. Oh, that's going to be the thumbnail. Y'all like that? Y'all like that for the thumbnail? Hold on, you know, we switching stuff up. Y'all like that for the thumbnail? Yeah, hold on, I'm making the thumbnail. Yo, we have fun over here. Smash the like button. But anyway, so if y'all see that as a thumbnail, y'all know what it is, you know. I'm the god when it comes to this boxing talk. But 42 professional fights plus 250 or 25 amateur fight. That's just a lot for a person. Canelo is going to hurt Gennady Golovkin. He's going to hurt Gennady Golovkin in the third fight. I really have no interest in it. You know, I have no idea why Oscar De La Hoya, aside from promises and maybe Dazn or something, I have no idea why De La Hoya seems to want this fight so much in Dazn. I think they really are mistaken. They really are believing that this particular fight is the fight that's going to blow up Dazn. But especially off the heels of this pandemic, I just don't see it. I don't see this being the fight that everybody is, you know, super excited for. De La Hoya saying stuff like, this is the fight the fans want, and this is the fight, it's got to happen. No one wants to see Billy Joe Saunders. At least that was something new. Whether you like Billy Joe Saunders, my thing with the Billy Joe Saunders fight, I just didn't like the Billy Joe Saunders fight happening off of Billy Joe Saunders coming off a bad performance. You see what I'm saying? He was coming off a bad performance. But that's the only thing that I don't like about that particular fight. So, you know, it's going to be a hard sell. I think Dazn, their marketing strategy and the promises that they made of pay-per-views dead and all this weird stuff has fell short and fell flat, especially with this pandemic. I don't even know what Dazn is offering to the fans at this current juncture and this current point with the pandemic. All of their original exclusive series and supposed to be Dazn exclusives can be found on Dazn's YouTube. So I really don't get it personally. And they have no live events right now with the rest of the world, no live sporting events. So it's going to be hard in general to bounce back. And I don't think Canelo Triple G builds the level of excitement that they think. I think it's rather lazy that they're going this route instead of pursuing and forcing Canelo to fight Charlo, Andrade, try to go after Benavidez, Caleb Plant, Beterbiev. You know, that's a dangerous man. Artur Beterbiev, you better be on your best behavior because that man got cracks. I just think it's lazy. They're really, HBO created the foundation with part 1 and 2, had it on their network, and I feel that Dazn is looking at it like this is already, it has history, you know, like Wilder Fury 1 and 2. That fight, the third fight's already sold because you have a 1 and 2. You know, Pacquiao 1, 2, and 3, the fourth fight did the best out of the whole saga because they had built history together. You know, they had a history of fighting each other and the names were synonymous and linked and that kind of thing. So yes, Canelo and Triple G have been linked, but there's also been a huge regression versus like Wilder versus Fury. Wilder is a knockout artist and he lost to Fury, but before that you could argue that it was a long count or it was a draw. That's what the judges said. You know, so it's still interesting. Nobody has made Wilder look like Fury made him look in that last fight. Otherwise, he would have already lost. You see what I'm saying? There's guys that done good for moments like Luis Ortiz, but he got knocked out. So that's a once and done what Fury did so far. But Triple G's look poor in multiple fights. Even in the Steve Rolls fight, he got a knockout, but I personally thought he didn't look so great. He didn't look that great to me. He was getting tagged early, and this was a guy who's coming down from 168 to like 163, some type of catch weight, a guy who had never fought a 12-rounder, a guy who had never fought out of his immediate area, the Canada or wherever, and is an inexperienced guy. And Golovkin, and go watch that fight again. Triple G versus Steve Rolls. Steve Tootsie Rolls, right? If you watch that fight again, Steve Rolls looked actually scared. And it was weird because I've watched boxing my whole life and a lot of guys don't look what you would call scared. But Steve Rolls looked like he was very nervous. Like you actually seen it on his face before the fight started when he was walking out. He was like trying to smile and like play it off. But, you know, you could tell the moment and what he was up against and Golovkin fighting. It just looked like it was a bit much for him. And that's where experience plays a part. And yet and still, once you're in there, you're in there. The bell rings. Some guys trying to take your head off. It is what it is. But once he started to get into like some type of rhythm or shake the nerves or whatever, as soon as he did that, that's when you noticed he started landing some shots on Golovkin. And then don't even get me started on Derevyanchenko. Total robbery. Derevyanchenko really won the fight. Case closed. Anybody who watched that fight, even the fighters in the crowd, Gerald Miller, Devin Haney, go watch their interviews. They were in attendance and they said, man, nah, I think Golovkin lost that one. You know, ain't no love lost. It is what it is. So I have no idea why De La Hoya and Dazn are pushing this Canelo Triple G fight. Another thing that looks bad is Canelo, he admitted that Derevyanchenko beat Golovkin. And he, all of last year, Canelo said he didn't want to fight Golovkin. Now all of a sudden, he looks horrible with Derevyanchenko, you know, in my opinion, and Canelo's opinion too, obviously, because Canelo said Derevyanchenko, we all know, beat him. So now that he looks like that, now Canelo wants to fight him. And Golovkin, he's allegedly had a knee or calf injury, got kicked out the snack program, inactivity. He's 38 years old now, looked poor in his last performance, looks like age is catching up with him, these types of things. And now all of a sudden we get the trilogy. So for me, too little, too late. Let me know what you guys think. Drop your thoughts in the comment section. If you love what I'm doing, smash the like button. As always, hate, comment, and subscribe. Till next video, it's Ego signing off. So if you enjoyed this video and want more content like this on the channel, you can show your appreciation by going to the PayPal donate button or the YouTube support button, and you can donate any amount that you feel is equivalent to the value of this video. Much more to come. Thank you guys for your support. Boxing Ego, the future of boxing.